This is Highway 395 South 95, which is connecting to the Franklin Benton County Justice Department here at Annie Miller's Prosecutor's Office in Kennewick, Washington. 7110 West Okanagan Road. That's a coroner's office, the Benton County Coroner's Office, which is J. Mueller. Frank Kamisko, the fourth top policy holder for New this winter, 3 November 14 West Side Union. Blood test has been drawn, blood test has been pulled out, and that's every month, so we're going to make sure we're going to deliver the inquiry services to the prosecutor's office, which is Annie Miller at CO Benton, Washington, 509-735-3591, fax 509-733-3066. This is the, of course, the 3 South 395 entryway to Franklin County, and then connecting to Lady Lourdes Hospital, and then Kennewick KGH Trios, which is Kennewick Hospital, and then of course Benton County Justice Department, which is the Kennewick Police Department. Three Rivers Transfer Station BFT. Got the 3 BFT, the Social Security card, driver license, CDL license, which was taken, was attacked on the sidewalk with witnesses testimony. That's Eric Olson, 610 First Street, Othello, Washington. So this is Carol J. Benzel and Supreme Court Dixon and Officer Annie Miller, prosecutor, Benton County Justice Department, which is Franklin, Richland, Pasco, Adams County, which is Franklin County and Adams County, because there's property on Adams County and Franklin County, which is Annie Miller at CO Benton, Washington. And we're taking all the sealed documentation to the office right now. Now, Ajmer Singh Nijjar is the Cimaron 5IC Vehicle Cargo Restaurant Bar Motel, where they parked the Tundra at Annie Miller's office. The AM irrigation truck that I drove that built Home Depot in Spokane and Home Depot Kennewick on Tappatil, and Arrowhead, which is Home Depot. Now it's Kohl's and laundry, outfit, wardrobe for women and men, children. So it's like AJMER Singh SANGH, not here in AJJ. I got the CDL driver's license and permits and proof of registration process. UBI number is 602720. And that's Secretary of State Kim Wayman for the 8 years, and also Mr. Sandy Strong. We're at the George Washington House, which is Lola Hernandez, Roberta Barela, Sandy Strong, Dick Cheney, Liz Cheney, and also Senator John McCain. Issuing checks to Mueller's Green Home, issuing checks to Annie Miller, prosecutor of Benton County, issuing checks to Mistress and the judge in Spokane, Washington, John Cooney, law firm, Jim Cooney, Dallas Cooney. Those are the children. And 32626. She would say we have the sealed documentation. And we got the camera, the video camera of the officer attacking me on the sidewalk. And that's what we're requesting for. No warrants outstanding, and it's called Annie Miller and called of course, the police department. That's Moses Lake Letterman jacket, as you can see. Chinese dragon. That's Donald Trump, and Donald Trump love having sex with Roberta Barela. They go to the Toppers and also the resort to the Yakima Reservation. They also go to the El Ranchito. Mrs. and Mrs. Tom, Father Dylan, Father Richard, St. Pat's. This is St. Pat's jurisdiction. Adams County and Franklin County. That's Andy Miller. And Andy Miller remembers the day when I was pulled out of her uterus, and then Colin Powell showing up at 1313 West Grand Ronde, and his thugs, his Black Panther thugs. And this is the location, Daryl Johnson, Green Beret, full-fledged Green Beret, a real piece of shit motherfucker, because he's having sex with Jean Marie Bolt, and also administration office right across the street. That's 1354 Northern Pacific, Brooklyn and Northern, and right next to it is Daryl Johnson's father, T.P. Elliott. Now, T.P. Elliott was taken care of by Felix Barela for increments for $70,000. Now, you look to the right, the Franklin County, the gold emblem eagle on the top, and also the Pentagon Administration Office, Mr. Donald Rumsfeld, and also Mr. Donald Rumsfeld and Mr. Colin Powell shaking hands after the Muncher area for killing State Patrol. Mr. Thompson, Bob Thompson, right next door here, for killing State Patrolman at Department 205. Now we got John F. Kennedy's body, Bobby Kennedy's body at Mueller's Vineyard. We got hearse, we got urns, we got concrete liners, and we got all the way till 1700, 1600, 1500, all the way to the year of 1000. And that'd be the Kennewick Command, because I had to remove it all by with my left and right hand. But right next door is the Lady Lord's Medical Society. This is where the criminal convicts, child molesters, rapists, and murderers, and convicted felons who were part of the plot of John F. Kennedy's murder. Those thugs, that's Colin Powell, that's Don Rumsfeld, and also that's Patty Murray and Senator Mary Cantwell and Patty Murray. The consequences for the Black Panther movement were unbelievable. The Ku Klux Klan members donated the cross to the Lady Lord's Medical Facility, known for the fact that the Lady Lord's and also the Sacagawea Apartments right across the street, a rave. And that was George Washington's first steps as a child from Texas, Nebraska, and also El Paso, Washington, which is a Freight courthouse, and also the Columbia Center Mall. Columbia Center Mall was nothing but a tribal refugee renegade compound facility for nothing but delusional, delinquent prostitutes, soliciting officers, and police officer bailiffs that overthrew the government, which is Geronimo, and Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, and 10 Bulls. The monument stands at Apartment 205, where the State Patrolman was dead inside the apartment complex. The next door neighbors, she's a redhead girl. Redhead girl, named Sandy Strong. She has daughters, she got sisters, she got brothers, she got siblings. So she had a little room right across Apartment 205 because Felix Barela. And then right next to it was no other Mr. Cepeda. Father Tom, Father Dylan, Father Ritter, and Father Cepeda and the Rodriguez family. Now, the redheaded had, her name was, let's call her Bobby Kennedy, because it is Bobby Kennedy. Leonard Bambach, which is overthrown the government for, of course, the U.S. Marine Corps. Candidates and specialized services, the increments they have for their services for lowering caskets, opening urns, and also the concrete liner orchids and double liners for the Pentagon Regiment Services. The 21-gun salute was here and originated here in Pasco, Washington, called Lady Lord's. At one time, it used to be called the Sacred Services for the Holy Guadalupe. But that's no more longer, because when they killed the State Patrolman, Apartment 205, the body was by the Columbia River, actually by the Cable Bridge. It's called Lake Bull Global Bowling Alley. Maria Hernandez, Diana Hernandez, Lupe Hernandez, Samuel Hernandez, Farida Hernandez. And her name's not Farida Hernandez now anymore, because Farida Hernandez lived on Newport Highway, Canada, and Donald Trump, Ivanka Trump, Melania Trump, They want to go through a divorce. So Samuel Hernandez drove all the way to Fresno. They call him Limpy. He only has he has no legs, no fingers, just like Daniel Hernandez, Nebraska, and also Texas. When they came back, Daniel is about 7'9", 490 pounds, and he moves trains. He's a mechanic, fleet mechanic. Apaches, Abrams, Hercules, stealth bombers, MiG bombers, Richland bomber, Richland, Washington bomber, interprets of dropping the first baby bomb. That would be the little boy and the big boy. It's a perfect proposal. They're dead and lowered into caskets and urns, but the entitlements and services are increments are engraved into my diamonds and also embezzled into the diamonds and also the necklace. But the ANCRES, the monarch of the Lords of Medical Center, was donated by the how would you say, they're clowns. They have parades and they have little hats on their heads, represent Ku Klux Klan members. And they carry and sponsor the sacrament of the church, which is Father Tom, Father Dylan, Father Richard, and of course Mr. State Patrolman Sonderman. They use him as a prime example. So overriding that process for the Strong Arm South Dakota checks that were issued out to Sandy Strong, the commissioner of Benton County Justice Department, convicted of all murder, child molester, and rapists, because Mrs. Sandy Strong, you know, she loved to house the administration office for the Chief Justice Department, and also the administration office for the subpoena, and also overriding for the 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of Mr. Andy Miller, prosecutor. So Mr. Van Scooter, Mrs. Judge Matheson from Findlay, Washington, from Conger, Lamb, Weston, appreciating Mrs. Eugene F. Pratt, and also Amber and Mandy from Brown. No, I'm sorry, it's Browns. It's a Bryson and Brown room. And then 777205, George Washington House. You know what's his name? You know what the name is? They call it Mullins. Mullins, Mueller, Muller. His generated first name of George Washington. Her name is Martha. Not Martha Stewart, the cook, because he convicted her for murder for feeding Felix Barela. Go figure it. Wall Street put her in prison. So she was feeding Felix Barela. Felix Barela, no snitch ass rat or child molester or rapist, because they caught me putting a mop up someone's face and taking the mop head in someone's face. There's a bailiff, there's a judge, a superior court judge, there's bailiffs, there's commissioners pulling me off the criminal convicts, the child rapists, and murderers, and convicts. Because they're always having sex with these criminal convicts. I'm sitting there catching them in the moment where they're having sex with criminal convicts, staff members. Staff members having sex with staff members, criminal convicts having staff members, and they go out, Navy SEALs go out of their way of me in the kitchen making a dough ball, and I can pitch about 90, 120 on a good day if I'm on pure adrenaline rush, meaning I can get underneath the squat rack and pick up 1,000, 1,500 pounds and squat it. They'll come and bring EMT and services of their journey and ship them out and ship back in. And try to do a 1044 intense for business obligations, increments for a lawsuit. They'll go in for policy procedure affidavit. They'll go in procedure affidavit for subpoena. So there's Colin Powell. There's Don Rumsfeld. Of course, all Generals and NATO have this administration with which they got all fired of COVID-19. The ordinance of spraying COVID-19 in your face, spraying COVID-19 into your mouth, because of the force entry increments of them breaking in entry, arson, bigamy, pedophiles, abandonment, child abandonment services, increments of sexual assault and harassment, and also, Roberta Barela has all kinds of scar tissues on her face, around her head for mental anguish, and she was beat up to a pulp, beat up to where her brain was so much fluid was in her brain, they had to drain it out of her left and right earlobe. and she was living in a protective facility for women's only. And for that fact, they did a lawsuit on her because Black Negro, Black Panthers versus white supremacist J. Mueller, presidency, Hinckley, the LDS Church of Jesus Christ Almighty, and also the Catechism Service of Mr. Tom, Father Dylan, Father Richard, the white KK Klans members. And look at, this is Washington Street. Mr. Fabian Barela runs his own compound facility here. And Fabian runs this other compound facility here on this side. That's in his Apple. So they got an embargo of wheat, barley, increments of Mr. Lamb Wesley, Mr. Lamson Crane. He likes to pick up the crane and take advantage of Roberta Barela. And he's such a way to shoot up a syringe in her with heroin, methamphetamine, cocaine, and having sex with her to have orgasm. And then she wakes up to a distraught, ripped up clothes on her bed with a masturbated increments of evidence all up in her vagina on the bed frame. Know for the fact I'm looking up. As a child, you see Ash Grove, you see Lamson Crane, and of course, this is where Donald Trump resides. Donald Trump sits in this building here and documents everything. You got Lamson Crane, you got White State Flag, you got waterfallies, of course. The waterfallies by criminal convicts that jump the fence and use the beer gardens, and Mrs. Lamson Crane. Use the best, but we have a welding shop here. The spas used to be Polaris, Yamaha, Kawasaki, but it's a spa compound facility. Now you got Dorian, still portrait photo. You got 421 Estate Sales LLC. You got Zips Driving, still there. You got Gems Mushrooms. Then you got this Cellar Wines by BS Farms and Preston Wineries, where I did all the upgrades and labor rate. Rebecca Johnson, that's Rebecca Johnson's daughter, moved this processing from IE. And also, don't forget the Nora ABM. This ABM building, this is Mr. Yates, the murder on Sprague, Spokane, Washington, Columbia Drive, and Ash Street. Everyone picks on Mrs. Yates because the confrontations and individual heroes. I mean, she couldn't defend herself because Felix Barela was in with Mr. Yates. There's nothing but dead bodies in the back of the truck, just like Daryl Johnson having dead bodies. McGreen Braves, full-fledged, but Mr. Yates has flight time. You got spy plane ordinances, you got Apache helicopters, Cobras, AFHPH, and also the medical supply units. And me knowing this because all the crazy people in the crazy loony house, that's Roberta Barela. See, she can't protect herself. She can't defend herself because I drove her around, slammed the brakes at St. Joseph's, and officers trying to detain her and take her in. I slammed the brakes and have the officers come out one-on-one or with the taser or gun. It didn't work out in any way. Father Tom, Father Dylan, Father Richard. And this is the Welch Company. That's Ajmer Singh Nijjar. It says Jubilee Foods LLC. That means ANJAMR Singh Nijjar. That means Pajops or Pajapes or Pajoops. These are nothing but homeless, sheltered convict criminals from the hydroplane races. And also Mr. Cavler Collision's been here for decades. Right next to is a nursing company, a recycling company by the railroad company. And right here is Marvel Comics. This is 109. It used to be Marvel Comics right here. Now it's an ice shack. Right next to it is even Marvel Comics. Now Washington Street is Washington Furniture, Hardware, and this is the original Harvest. Right next to it is First Street, which is the gym. Mr. USA placed third. Mr. Russell from Washington Street. Nothing but convict, criminal, drug addicts by Chuck's Meat Market right here. And also, and this is Domino's. Used to be Domino's. It used to be a small Domino's. And this gas station right next to her. And also Mrs. and Mrs. Hernandez, John Hernandez, Sammy Hernandez, at 206 here on Washington Street. Right next to 3rd Avenue on Washington Street. And Post Office 6696, Kennewick, Washington, 99336 is right here. This is the conviction service for the conviction of all the cremated murders, convicts, and child molesters, with the rapist judge with the sentence at the federal courtroom. This is where they get separated, right here. Right next to St. Paul. And then we have Leonard Bambach. He lives right down here. He's a full-fledged U.S. Marine Corps with a redhead wife. This is around 7th Avenue. You go straight down 7th Avenue, take a right, and then you head right down on this 8th Avenue. And that goes straight to Leonard Bambach's U.S. Marine Corps Administration Office, and that's the services. Every time he threatened to kill me in any shape, I take anything in my hands and hit him side the head with it. Jay Mueller is sitting there pulling me off. Leonard Bambach and Joe Johnson is trying not to make a scene because he opens his fat mouth, and I hit him with the administration process getting with that 220, a taser. I use a taser, a prong. You know how you put prongs in the ground and pull night crawlers out of the ground? Well, I did the same thing. I used the 220 out. Now, the Cadillac Coffee at 224 320. This is Lola Hernandez's death certificate, birth certificate for Samuel Hernandez, Daniel Hernandez, Big Dan, Little Dan, and Maria Hernandez in Kansas City. Maria owns Kansas City. Liz Cheney owns Wyoming because of Felix Barela. Custer's last stand at the Yellowstone Park, which is Walker County, which is the gigantic pond, man-made pond for services for browning. That's trout. That's trout with real teeth. Any ducks or any geese that land into the ground, these German brown trout nibble and eat the toes off. Literally, once it gets in there, they get a chance to get a chunk of their feet. And as Lola Hernandez would say, anybody that messes with it, sugar, and they're not supposed to be drinking sugar, they get what they get. You get your fingers cut off, you get your toes cut off, and that's German brown or meticulous of whatever goes into the pond. Known for the fact they're supposed to put warning signs on Montana that says German brown trout. If you put any kind of adversary or pet inside the... See, I got pet ducks, you know. They should put a sign up on the pond says, if you're amphibian and you have a pet that goes in the pond, be warned. The feet and toes will be eaten by a German brown trout. So this service for increments or service at trail building has expanded to extraordinary services from 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. They would never be like that. But now they have generating equipment, man-made solar panels and increments for the service for the hydro dams and the dams for out services, and also liquid power outlets that are connected to, of course, the Cadillac Original Hospital and the KGH. Their services for their increments that they have in their childhood friends and their children bearing from police officers, and they're having separations and affidavits. So when they come in here with their husband or wife, this is how they serve them. They serve them in the public eye, in administration office, under incarceration, without incarceration, because they killed Felix Barela. That's why James Lee is the governor. He used to be a police officer. Mr. Ainsley was a full-fledged police officer. Secretary Sandy Strong was a full-fledged elite U.S. Marshal, affidavit for U.S. Deputy Sheriffs for seals and documentation. Kim Wayman's United States Army, and also Administration Mayor of Spokane is United States Army, and also in the United States Army, Mr. Yates is the United States Army Administration Office. So anybody that snitch, anybody that steals, somebody has sex with somebody that wasn't supposed to be bearing children with, when you have binded amendment for service like LDS or Catholic Sisters or Mr. Pope or increments of your services, behind that contract and services, and impeachment and services, endowments of services for you showing up and present with your wife or supposed wife or your boyfriend, your girlfriend, and you're asking for the blood sample and services, and you see them scurry away and falsify documentation and sign something, read something, and comprehending for their affidavits to the Washington Bar Association. The Washington State Farm Bureau looks down on that for services like that. Like the grandfather and mother will show up at, let's say, Sean Logan's house at 105 Hamlet. Jim Logan. So he admitted that Jim Logan, that Sean Logan was a black Negro, and he's not wanted in the community here in Kennewick, Richland, Pasco, or Othello. So the binding contract, they asked him to retire or forcibly be downed or catch his house on, they caught his house on fire. They all parked in his parking lot, and his house was caught on fire, and the public lives and services for intelligence and services. Because Felix Barela talking shit to his face, letting him know that he'll never be the man to be of himself. Him marrying his wife and marrying with his children, going to DHCPS office, going to Sandy Strong's office, going to Spokane, Washington, going to Gonzaga University. Oh, sorry, I got all legal seal documentation on that. Building the headstones, moving the monuments, bring their headstones, putting sod down, going in the truck and into the truck, unloading the truck, dropping the truck. But Annie Miller's office has a nuclear bomb atom smasher, ABC. That's Connaught. Cunaalt. That's Okanagan now, AKNOT. Place building A, B. See that monument, George Washington House, Bobby Kennedy, John F. Kennedy. Those 2 months when he showed up at 1313 West Grand Ronde, which is Georgia, Kansas, and don't forget, administration officer West Falls, and West Grand Ronde, and Iniat. And that's the doctor that's been processed, and his daughter's from Cimaron High School. And his son is now from, Kennewick High School, and Kennewick, and Cimaron High School. And when they got married in that service, driving him in that white vehicle into the increments of processing their information for the U.S. Bank, of course. This is Trio. Lola Hernandez says Trio's building never. Says debit card, and it said this building is never no good. She says all the police officers and services and also FBI, CIA agents come to the building where they leveled the Twin Towers. See, when they leveled the Twin Towers, she kept on saying this place was no good. I mean, she said there was murderers, child molesters, rapists. They had badges, uniform, and they were protected by the society. But they took the tree down. That's on YouTube, Facebook. Can't miss it. They took the tree down. They say trees scream and cry when they you cut into the. It's called skin. The layers of skin, the layers of it. When it gets to so many layers, you could put a stethoscope to it, and you hear it screaming. There's a decimal point, not the chainsaw decimal. The decimal of it screaming. So when they took that tree down, they were taking generations, well, centuries actually, centuries. See, J. Mueller administration office has been there for centuries. It's been there since day one, since Geronimo, Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, and 10 Bears. And Sitting Bull, nobody likes Sitting Bull. Nobody likes Sitting Bull. He don't like his wife. He don't like her kids. They're just a gateway to overthrow the government, processing black Negroes and processing information. That's why they killed Lola Hernandez. They killed Lola Hernandez, and then they killed Roberta Barela. And then they killed Felix Barela. But that didn't work out. I'm not a diabetic. I'm a borderline diabetic. I'm definitely not a gonorrhea, syphilis, clap prostitute like Yates promised his wife and his kids that the services that he provided, their services increments for their stimulus package. Social Security office. And that's 1, 2, 3. That's headquarters now. That's kind of Washington. Now look at your sub USS Virginia, USS Washington, which is Mueller's finger, pretty much. Mr. Richard Dillon, Father Tom, and Dillon from St. Joseph, St. Patrick's, you know, being a Ku Klux Klan member in a service increments, you aren't supposed to have a criminal record, for one. You aren't supposed to have any connections with services for anybody that's a Jew, Muslim, or monarch, or Muslim. Mr. Obama himself. Be correctly is wrong. Being protective like that PC, as Ms. Sounders strong say, snitch-ass rat, a convicted felon administration process fugitive from justice that's held in an F, A, B, C, D, E, F superior courtroom in a PC facility area protected by immigrants, Guantanamo Bay, fugitive justice, increments and services. And when they do a fingerprint sensor and they have these uniform officers trying to have somebody stop getting a fingerprint or signing something, and you're not pleading guilty to anything and you're force feeding your increments of services for your amendments. This is the building that used to be, was kind of, I mean, KGH, but it's trios now. The Cancer Society from Lady Lords, and also the Cancer Society in Hot Shots program, Cadillac Hospital on Goethals in Richland, Washington. And also the trios, which is right off Deschutes. Now, Deschutes is a waterline access with Lucre deterrent. That's where they found the Kennewick man. The Kennewick man was in a water Deschutes area. It was a scurry underneath the boat race program. It was protected by gate and fence community, but nothing but divisional criminal convicts broke into those fence lines and dug into the ground of Columbia Park and found, of course, the remains of the product is not man-made. The UFO unidentified project, when they took the sample, the product is not man-made. It's from a different planet. The small artifact alien, the alien itself, it's called the alien, has big eyes around the perimeter. The skin is facial green, and there is up to 1, 2, 3 foot. And these increments they have lower them in the caskets, the urns, and also the monuments of the soil, testing core samples, and also the liquor deterrents of the concurrence, where these things, these creatures were at Columbia Park. See, their body, their urines, their services, they made a monument out of it. So when they dug into that Mr. Chip, Budweiser, Mr. Budweiser, I know this because I live here, and I've been here for years, and I've been here ever since Jay Mueller's been raising his children and his increments. But the thing is that the services that they have, snitch-ass, rat, compulsive liars, wannabe services, being on the same table or eating with the same individual, where you say if you're a cop, and you're supposed to say you're a cop, if you say you're a fed, and you're supposed to say you're a fed, or if you say you're a child molester, you're supposed to say you're a child molester, or you say you're a rapist, or you're a female prison guard, a female increment criminal convict. I say, are you a child molester? And you say no. Are you a rapist? You say no, and you are. Are you a child molester, state patrolman, or offended? Not just offended and had your ways with your own children, and having sex and having privilege service with the LDS Church and Sacred Heart Church. You say yes, or you say no. When you say no, when you say when it's true, that's a lot of guilt here. I mean, look at the modified case. This Lola Hernandez lives here in this area. See, the statements, inquiries on this is called Heatherstone. Right next to it is the Hawaiian Village. That's a big Samoan. That's Ivanka Barela. That's Mike McBee. That's the Toyota company. And there's Lola Hernandez right down there. Samuel Daniel Hernandez. Still the same property. And now J. Mueller, right here. We got a J. Mueller monument. It says J. Mueller right on the headstones, right in the entranceway to the group. The trailers is not like Elio Homer, Eric Benson, and also Leonard Bondock, and also they're not there no more. That trailer's not there. But you have this Muslim Shiite Paul Church on 10th Avenue and Quincy right there. All that archive, injury maps, signatures, Donald Trump's headstone. You must have some balls that are going to kill Donald Trump, the President of the United States. You got some real balls. You got so much balls, you might be incarcerated. You're some undercover police officer, and detective. You want to stick your penis all in Donald Trump in Spokane County, like when I was in a limousine in Spokane. And Riverside with the Pepsi came to there in the back of the truck. You know, rolling down the window and him identifying. Of course, Carrie Ann Moore. She's the prosecutor, now the judge. That ain't legal, Donald Trump. You see the increments of that slender blonde lady talking to that criminal convict That's not legal. That ain't legal. If it ain't legal, especially having sex, criminal convicts and staff members and police officers. Mr. Yates is not getting the death penalty for one because he killed criminal convicts, killed prostitutes, killed people that solicited it and moved on my property or have any intentions of asking where my whereabouts was. And they were pretty much putting in an urn, an open casket, a double liner, anywhere encompass of their array of Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and also the Coast Guard, which would be the Hells Angels that Clover Island we just passed. $80,000 enforcement for those Hells Angels showing up here. And all that shit that came out of Daryl Johnson's mouth and learned about, I bring out my bag, I have no problem clotheslining every one of them on the streets and bringing them, pulling them out. And, Mr. Steve York is a big, big man. He weighs 490, 560 pounds in the winter, and like 490 in the summer. 560 pounds is a lot of weight. And then going door to door and having process at San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara Ranch, and Ronald Reagan Ranch, and wake up Mr. Ronald Reagan and Mrs. Ronald Reagan because I paid for the motel. I paid for their arrangements. And then Mr. Doug Carr, and he's a billionaire. He talks all that smack, methamphetamine, smack services. When he has all that interest of protecting in his services and having that drug habit, pulling the projectile out of the buttocks of his butt, and being at Grover Beach. Grover Beach used to be Kentucky Fried Chicken. And KFC, Grover Beach, is a San Luis Obispo. Let's go San Luis Obispo. Oceano, Sereno, SUR 13th Street, Sereno, Oceano, Shell Beach, Avila, El Beach, Diablo Beach, Liquor Rack. And then they got Pirates Cove, all nudist colonies, but they're a bunch of Navy Department individual homosexuals, homophiliacs that have AIDS, syphilis, there's no more. We have COVID-19 now, they're all deceased and lowered in the casket. But, see, Mr. Yates, he's a very smart individual. Nobody knew the characteristics of Mr. Yates. His childhood friends and people that used him. His wife, his kids, they don't care about you. They don't care about, Mr. Yates. They don't care about you. He's right. They don't care about nothing. They care about themselves. But monument carries Mr. J. Miller Administration Office. Mr. J. Miller with Felix Barela, and every headstone, every monument, every George Washington plaque, every Kennedy monument, every Abraham monument, every pond, which that pond flipped all the way to Olympia and 10th and Union, and this is Mid-Columbia Library right across the street. Archives, official and services. Mr. Donald Trump's headstone. Rest Haven. There you go. Donald Trump on the headstone. You got some real balls. Kill David Barela and Donald Trump. Triple, four, Donald Trump and that's right. Avak Marin, Avak Barrett, Tiffany, Eric Benson. There's headstones everywhere. You got monuments everywhere. You got my scent and my smell, the cremator. That's 80,000. Hells Angels for 80,000. I'm trying to say you take over for 80,000. That's like saying I want to be the president of the United States of America. I'd do anything in my power to monopolize anything in power and forge anything because I am Felix Barela. He ain't Felix Barela. One. For what? Yeah, on YouTube, Facebook, and Waco, Texas. Waco, Texas, which is the first empire on the surface for compound facility of Mid-Tibet. At age October 21st, 1970, Waco, Texas was overrun, processed, and outdoor and taken down in just like Idaho, Hayden, Idaho, when the process was taken down. And that mansion still stands on the hill, undefeated as it sits. They got the monument, they got the beautiful mansion that overrides the process, that whole property line, that whole monument. Rent it and lease it to the government, and it's not for sale. and never will be for sale. Because intermats, processing mats, signatures, affidavits, memos, not to any Miller, prosecutor. You know, people think he was probably going to a heart stroke or maybe murdered the mother and grandfather, which is Lady Lord's, Life Care Center, Pascal Life Care, and Life Care in Richland, and the services income is applying for that South Dakota Strong Arm. She's struggling with fire. Mrs. Sandy Strong, I'm sure she's struggling with fire for the time being, but it's not like that anymore. It's not like that anymore. She can show up and opens the door. There's a cremator. There's an urn, so she can probably pretty much flush you down the toilet, or she can open a casket for you and you might be shaking for it. And you know how the redheads run? There's probably 80 million of them, to 80 million redheads, and you don't know which one did it, right? You got somebody in the cremator at night, and he's in the cremator. It's on YouTube, basically, he's in the cremator. So what's he gonna open the key and slip the key in, and we're gonna put him on you? Just drag him out, turn the cremator off, call the units. How do you like that? Now, back to the real story. We all know who you are, what you did, and when it comes to your services, you're applying as your slittery snake, he, she, him, I don't even know what to say heterosexual. It means man or woman or both. You have a penis every time at the same time. And also your hemophiliac means when you bleed compulsively. So when you get shot, you're bleeding all over the place. And there's no stopping. Even if you put towels, you're bleeding everywhere. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for blood. The trickle of the blood that goes into property lines. And I will find you. I'll find you. Any Miller's a prosecutor, stay watched, and increments of services, and that's conviction rates, populations, and also the increments of percentage of convictions, which was at 5%. Now it's at 99% conviction rate. This is Carrie O'Rourke, was a former prosecutor. She became the judge when Mr. Donald Trump and Mrs. Melania Trump took it forward of getting married for that $2 billion contract at Benton County Justice Court. Quinault. You see Quinault, it's a water spring aquifer for nuclear power to turn A, B, and C building in Queensgate here in Richland, Washington. Now, this is the Reuters company. Can't miss it. Wells Fargo. South Dakota. Strong market. Lola Hernandez still standing. Look. Her services, the people just taking advantage of corruption, still exist. And then we got the railroad coming through next to the district, and that's what the bus district. The bus district is the service that they have for the district. They got middle schools, elementary schools, middle schools, elementary schools, and high schools. And the bus services have the BFT, the GTA, people on Kenosha Road, which is right in Moses Lake I-90, where I walked all the way from I-90 to Annie Miller's office, Moses Lake, Washington, right from 210 West Broadway. Take the shortcut to I-90. But BNSF, most of the people that take I-90, they jump on the train and catch the train to Kennewick. This train here goes through I-90, goes to downtown Ritzville. You can catch this train and you can get on. You can be here in Kennewick in about an hour. 2 hours because the train is very fast, quicker. It doesn't go through all the highways and stops and quick signs, all that. It takes about an hour to get on one of these trains. It drops you off here in Kennewick. As long as you can run and tumble, approximately it's going about 37, 50 miles an hour at times. But when it comes through town, it's about 35, 36 miles an hour. Because it goes by Grand Ronde, 1313 West Grand Ronde, where they found the Kennewick Man, the UFO aliens, and also the UFO product, not man-made thing, because they tested the alien aircraft. They literally, it was they never seen an aircraft, they never seen a UFO like it. They said it was never proven of what kind of alloy to it. They melted it. They tried tearing it apart. They melted the alloys and made knives, made swords out of it, made bullets, made guns out of it, and they had weapons not made by this world, by a different planet. And they can prove any of the artifacts. But this railroad goes right to kind of called Deschutes, where the alien lived in the Deschutes Canal and 1313 West Ronde, which is Mr. Chip, Budweiser Butters, and Miss Lamson train. And also think of it as the boat race weekend where the criminal convicts come here and just start confrontation wars at which is connected to the railroad. That's the Cavalry, U.S. Marine Corps, Army, Navy, and Marines. As you can see, the 80,000 aircraft for their services didn't do no damage any way, shape, or form. But the contract they have here, this expansion for the railroad, is Deschutes and also Columbus Center Boulevard. And Columbus Center used to be an Indian safe haven for Geronimo, Sitting Bull, 10 birds, 10 bears, and Crazy Woods, South Dakota, Suits. And that's Sasquatch Social Security Office. It says BNSF, meaning Benton County, Nebraska, San Francisco, which is the gold mine. The gold mines is connected 1313 and the gold mine, and also the liquor facility that connected to this service. The train is this here for the reason because it supplies liquor detainment and liquor shelters. Liquor shelters underground has all food, cereal, milk, and powdered something. If you don't have refrigeration, it has powder. Everything's canned, and it's put in these in the increments of alcohol. There's alcohol and suppressed alcohol. There's wine. There's grapes. There's grape, kernel seed, and kernel seed used to be kernel seed. It's called popcorn, and that's from Nebraska, and also Kansas City, and also increments of BNSF supplying their services, but just a different name, but same owner. They thought it was a professional career option for killing him. Huh? Gets better. Well, gets much better. Now, this is Cascade Industry. This is where Lola Hernandez and Felix Barela used to walk me all the way to the LDS Church President Hinckley's office as a child. Mr. J. Mueller, of course. So J. Mueller was on, how would you say, on roll call, since it's my ship. You know, J. Mueller was always there as a child. I was there. And walking to his office, to the LDS Church. Well, Lola Hernandez, South Dakota. Go figure. Speaks English. She's a federal Watts state employee. Sandy Strawn. Took Sandy Strawn under her wing. Protected Sandy Strawn in any shape and form. Any nigger, Mexican, Jew, Muslim, Chinese, gook, chink, anybody in the Pentagon, Army, Navy, Air Force Department, or anywhere in San Luis Obispo, Texas, Arizona State, Arizona, any Phoenix, Flagstaff, Prescott, and also increments of anywhere in that area. She was called. You got 3 minutes.
No, I only have 1 minute.
Get the 120, Kennewick, Richland, West Richland, well, night station. 48, which is 10th Avenue, which is Kennewick, 10th Avenue. The 110, Kennewick, West Richland, which is 509-735-510 EFD. Three Rivers, Young, Deschutes. Young and Deschutes, okay. Now 47 Union, which is Kennewick, 27th place, which is Forest Heaven Hills. 42 eastbound goes Dayton Street, you go to Kennewick High School. 123 West Richland King Road, 150-22. Now the Benton County Justice Department 7110 is right across the street, and 7112 is Oakland Place. The increments of the array system, as you see. See the image of that? Look at that. Benton County Close. We walk all the way to 712 West Oakland Place. Their services they fly. I was just, I was just putting this on. Administration processed COVID-19. The process, the increments of their services. Oh, you like that? You like that? Processing information from the increments of that process? Beautiful. Look at that. Image. Huh? Look how beautiful. Coroner itself. Jane New Administration Frank Kamisko from 7112 West Oakland Place. The increments of applying their services here at the administration office. Coroner himself. Lola Hernandez, Roberta Barela, death certificate. Nebraska, Texas, the body of John F. Kennedy himself and Bobby Kennedy, him showing at 1313 West Grand Ronnie, his increment is processed. You want to assimilate Mr. Donald Trump and Fox Trump and Donald Trump and Mumu, Ganja, Tiffany, Barron, Eric, and this processing this information in this service, applying the physical amenities. Huh? Yeah. We're going to talk to Prosecutor Andy Miller right now. We're going straight to his office. We're going straight into his building. See what I'm saying? 95702C. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to apply the physical. We're going to have to get money straight to Andy Miller, Mr. J. Mueller himself, the coroner, for their life care services increments applying for Lola Hernandez. She's a known. She's well known. She got long silver hair. Not white, it's silver. And her long white silver hair goes way past her knees. And her appearance in courtrooms scares Andy Miller. The shivering of consultations of her wrath. Mr. Sandy Strawn, this confrontation of wrath of her appearance showing up with hand and knee with Mr. Felix Barela, of course, as a child, walking to Prosser, because Fabian Barela was incarcerated by Andy Miller. See, because of boat race weekends, I'm at Kennewick High School as a child. Kennewick High School is a good high school. They got Kamigan High School, Southridge, Pasco Bulldogs, Hanford, and also the Richland football team, volleyball team, basketball team, cross country team. And then they have Seattle, Tacoma, and also Spokane collegiate sports for double hitter. And also the overnight stayers, people that appreciate the legalities of trying to get away with murder. They're trying to get away with embezzle. They're trying to get away with, you know. I mean, working in Mueller's Vineyard, you see all kinds. You see people that show up in hearse, caskets, urns, crematoriums. People that come in and try to come here and pay off a restitution here, and try to pay off a ticket, pay off a misdemeanor or a citation ticket for getting for being on the sidewalk. For me, Andy Miller, prosecutor. Well, I'm upstairs and I get my tone. I was on the sidewalk. You know, why don't you get that body cam and I'll give you a call from the original place where it happened, Adams County, 210 West Broadway, Judge Dixon's office, which I've been there a week. That was quite the. We got a crane. We got some beams here, beautiful beams. A crane, the service of their increments of the fine, their individual side cap, holding up that crane, beam eating up, dealing with the engineering of the scribing and millimeter in, millimeter out, doing a survey, doing a implement of their engineer. We're gonna put some C beams up, the C25, the C35, the 44, the 50, the 38, 45, the 41, the 52, and then apply and download. Now this is Andy Miller's office. This is the administration office where we parked the AM irrigation truck with all that material now at Building Home Depot, Spokane Home Depot, now called Kohl's. Now Kohl's is a wardrobe and servicing implements that they have, applying their increments of service, as you can see. We're going to have to give Andy Miller some money, some cash, credit card, ATM, service, apply TSA. We're going to give this to you right here. Now we're going to go in the office and see if they can do a confirmation. That's the prosecutor of Washington State, of course, Mr. Andy Miller. Andy Miller at Seal Benton, Washington, U.S. They apply the services increments of service, you know. They want the forms that proved that I was at Gonzaga University and also Mueller's Vineyard, building the caskets at Greenlee Pasco, Greenlee Court Street, and also the caskets in landscape in Killick Avenue, which is the service that they got, and then also the crematorium and the crematorium keys, the vault keys. The taxes in April, tax refund, April, January, February, March, April. See how crooked the system is? Your tax forms, president's campaign, and then tax forms. So you try to stop people to get their tax forms? I don't think so. I don't think so. Extension numbers for district courts, all these, right?
Yep.
Are accurate? Pay online, www.bettingtix.com. Tix. Very good. I'll put it right here. State evidence. Three. So I run this and I have no. Try the next number. Okay.
Yeah.
He has no record. He has no record. He has no record. Has no record. Has no record. Hang. Keep going. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pay online, www.bettingtix.com. Toll free 1-855-873-9709. 735-8476. That's 7, not 6. That's 7 numbers. Very good, very good. That 719 is no joke. You spray them in the face, they just run. Perfect. 509735. This beautiful service that they have here in Penn County Justice Department. That monument service, that love. And the Benton County Justice Department, of course, here. Come to you live. The administration office.